Hi, everybody. I'm Courtney, and I'm here with Casper, goes by Casper McFadden. And he is a musician and artist that Charlie actually sent me. And I found him listening to his newest album, Stasis. So, do you want to talk about that to begin with?
Um, yeah, I just it came out on New Year's and it's kind of just like Stasis is it's like an effect in Final Fantasy. It's like an RPG. It's basically like you're like stuck. So
Hmm.
it's with that I my first album that came out was like Audio Diary. Well, like my first album with
Hmm.
electronic. It's called Audio Diary, and I think it's like I want to continue the kind of like writing things down or like a representation of the time. So that's why it's like called like stasis and like in parentheses vlog. Like
Hmm.
it's like I'm like stuck and I'm still like going. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm. No, that's really, really cool. I mean, because when I was initially talking about this with your music with Charlie, it was like, I was like, how would you describe it? He's like, it's like a collage of audio clips.
Yeah.
Um, and it's so interesting of how you do it. Like, so what is your process of, do you sample everything and then turn it into a beat? Like, what's your process of actually making your music?
Um, with a lot of it, I just I like just start off with the drums and those just like from like packs
Hmm.
or whatever, just breaks. Um,
Hmm.
and then for the pads or like the synths in the back, I'll like play them. Like I have like a bunch of like synthesizers. Like I'm in my
Hmm.
studio right now.
Oh, really?
Just in my room, yeah. But I like just like I mean I'll just play like a bunch of synths. I love synths, and then with like the samples and stuff like that, I just have like so many things downloaded and like cut up, like things from packs, like things from like YouTube, like
Hmm.
you know what I mean, like random stuff or like move things from like movies and stuff like that. So it is pretty much like a collage.
Hmm.
When I make like throwing it in there and basically
Hmm.
just putting like a over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's insane because I actually took a class last year, kind of very similar to the work you make, and it was I had instead of I didn't sorry, I have like the sun coming in. Um, it was a very similar. I just kind of was like, wow, this is so similar because we weren't allowed to use anything from. We were using Ableton to create a software, and we weren't allowed to use any synths, any like already preloaded sounds, and we had only sample, and then like we would just remix the sample, and or we would just change the pitch, and then we would cut it down, and it was just like so similar, but like a whole new elevated version.
Yeah.
And the beats, we have a thing that we always call like, I guess like the taste of music is like SFBs, which are like sick fucking beats, and it just is like amazing to the ear. Like the ear is just like it's calm, it's soothing, but it's always really interesting. There's a lot of texture to listen to. Where did you kind of find inspiration to create that?
Um. Well, a lot of it is like listening to like breakcore, which is like basically like the like I wouldn't like say all my stuff is like breakcore, but like that's where I get a
Mhm.
lot of inspiration from. Or just like a lot of just like changing, like just like different changing. I don't know. It's just so much, and also like jazz because
Yeah.
when I started off making music, I was playing drums.
Okay. Mhm.
Um, and I think I like that's like my favorite instrument. And when I started like programming drums, I
Mhm.
got last year, like
Mhm.
like programming them and like getting these samples. It's kind of like it's like essentially like jazz but like faster. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah,
So
no, that's really true because it kind of feels really spontaneous at the moment as
yeah,
well.
yeah, and it's like a lot of it is like kind of like based in that and like with the drums, it's kind of like when I'm like chopping them up, like I kind of think of them as like drum solos or something like that, and like that's why like a lot of the like samples or like the pads or like the things happening in the background they'll repeat because it's like what's changing is like the drums.
Yeah.
'Cause that's
So now my another big question I always have when I hear music like this, because we always try to imitate this in our studio, and we are so like entranced by how you are able to take so many textures and take so many different sounds. And even I think in one of your songs, I think it was in your album that came up before this, Audio Diary, I was listening to it and it was dance core, and I think dance core. I think I'm I think I could be right. You know better than me. And you had a sample of this big voicemail, right?
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so interesting because you're taking all these different textures and then you have this big long voicemail that's happening over it. And how do you make it sound so cohesive and calm, because it doesn't feel obstructive to the ear?
Hmm. I don't. I don't really. I don't know. I like with that album. My main focus was like I mean that was just kind of like me learning how to use Ableton. Which it's like
Hmm.
so many people like it. It's like I like
Hmm.
experience when I was doing it.
Hmm.
But with like in the the voicemails, I really wanted to be like kind of like an MF Doom album or something like that, where like
Yeah.
they have long breaks at the end where it's like or like a little like interlude or something like that.
Hmm.
And with that I would just like I made all the songs for the album and then I put them in like one Ableton file, like all the waves, and I spent like for audio diary, I spent like a couple like weeks like really working it out, like trying to fit things in so it didn't sound like because I do like I like noise music, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Hmm.
I love like craziness, but like I think for my music, personally, it's like more I like more of like a dissonance or like something like it sounds like really like dreamy or something like that.
Yeah.
So just like with the synths, I spend like a long time just like and all those synths that like in the middle of the songs for Audio Diary, those were all like samples. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't me playing. I'm not very I'm not good with like playing like the keyboard or anything like that. Like that's why I mostly use samples.
Yeah, that's why I could kind of tell that in trying to I mean, I feel like whenever I try to listen to different work, I try to deconstruct it with my ear and like what's going on in the background, what's going on with this. And it was just so cohesive. And I mean, where did you kind of find your start in making music as well? Like, I mean, it's kind of reminds me of like almost noise music meets like video game music, if that makes sense, because it's able to go I feel like in experiencing your work, it's able to I could sit with it and I could do other things and it influences me in the other things I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it's also, and if you want to take the main stage, you can take the main stage. Does that make sense? Am I just getting a little in my head?
That's like kind of like my goal. Like I started actually have like I started like playing like when I like started playing guitar. So it was like
Yeah.
my I was like I like got when I first started making music, and I wasn't even like making music with the computer. I was using like an 8-track. So
Hmm.
I go get it. And I was like singing. And but that was like and like using YouTube like drum loops
Hmm.
to like sing over and like play guitar over, and like I had like pedals and stuff like that. But that's just because I didn't have anything.
Hmm.
Um, as I like started like I like got more jobs, you know what I mean, and like was able to
Yeah.
buy a bunch of like get gear and like save up for stuff, and like I got lucky, like found a bunch of like crazy gear like an MPC 2000 like for super cheap
Hmm.
like that because I'm just looking in like the pawn shop and stuff like that like all the time trying to continue my music. And I think when I like first started, I was like really into like what like it was like I guess like bedroom pop, I guess you would call it, like something
Yeah.
very like kind of like danceable, but it's like I'm singing like guitar, like it's like I wanted it to be dreamy, but I don't have like the dreamy voice. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
and also like in Chicago at the time, I was mostly going to like raves.
Hmm.
Uh, and I really and like that music really inspires me. And I'd always listen to electronic music, but I never thought I would be making it.
Yeah.
And then when I was like, well, I want to play shows with my friends, so like I'm gonna have to do something, but I don't want to like I didn't want to like make music like everyone else was making music because I was
Hmm.
like, that's not like I don't I like it, but like that's not really what I want to do. I was
Hmm.
like, how can I was like I spent like a lot of time trying to integrate like a bunch of things so I could like really find like a good spot where like when I'm making stuff it sounds like exactly what like how I want it, which is
Hmm.
like kind of like it's like can be like played in the background, like it's like because like it doesn't sound too like crazy where like you have to be paying attention to it to even like kind of like it like you
Hmm.
it's like nice, you know what I
It's
mean, but
good. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's something that, because I feel like it's really difficult with music at times, especially when I mean, I you know what it's like as an artist. It's you're working in the studio and you want there's something you always I feel like I always need to have something in the back of my ear to just be there. And so, you know, your mood depends and it changes, and your inspirations change, and I always have all these playlists I'm just running through over and over and over again. And you know, as I'm working on the next piece, it's, you know, so on. And what you were able to capture is something that I could sit down and just be with my friends and only listen to the music and be like, oh, look at that little sample that you put there, and it's like this beautiful blend. But then I also appreciate it because it's something I could also just sit and work to and
Yeah.
be in my own head. And then it's such a beautiful cycle, I guess, as an artist and as we continue to make other things. So I really love to hear the direction of these albums. What was making this most recent album? How was that different from your first?
Oh my god. So like with this one, like the first one, audio diary, I was like using a lot of like my I was using a lot of my gear.
Mm-hmm.
Like because I started off with gear and not like a DAW, like I went into it and I was like recording into like my stuff. And then
Mm-hmm.
like the pandemic happened, everything was like crazy, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And during the summer, my landlord was like, "Oh, we wanna redo your rooms because I have like a lot of time right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was not gonna take that long." I was like, "Okay, dope." But
Mm-hmm.
then it was taking like months and
Mm-hmm.
months. I didn't have my studio, so I had to
Oh
work
my
on
goodness.
computer. Because you can with Ableton,
Wow.
it's cool because you can like have like two like what is it like keys or whatever, so you can have it on multiple computers.
Yeah.
On her computer, and I was like, okay, I guess I have to just like use this. But I wanted to make like a new album. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I just wanted to work on it, but I didn't have my stuff, and I was like waiting. It was taking a long time, so I was like, whatever. And that's a big reason why I like called it Stasis a lot, because I was like stuck. Just like kind of like in my living room, because my room was like completely like trashed, like rubble on the ground and stuff like that. I couldn't even be in there.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I totally know what you mean. I feel like, how do you, I mean, I'm so interested by the space you work in. I'm just like looking at your background. Like how much does your space and interacting with your space, because I've been thinking about this a lot in my own work. How do you think it really transfers into the work you make as a whole?
I mean, I think like for me, like looking around, like this is like me and my girlfriends, like all my posters and stuff like that. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, I guess I could like this is like my like where I'm making music and stuff like that, and like I have my stuff
Yeah.
over here,
Yeah.
and like all my stuff over here. Like, I just like it's just like for me, a lot of it is inspiration. Like when I'm doing stuff, like if I'm ever like feeling stuck,
Hmm.
because I could just like I like just add random things or like things that inspire me, like shows that I've liked, or like
Hmm.
random clips from that. I like damn, what am I doing? What do I do next? And I like look up and I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I could add like
Hmm.
something from like an episode or something pops like
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like a real life Pinterest board or
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
collage you would
yeah.
make.
Yeah.
It's really, I mean, I think it's just so interesting. I mean, sorry if I was invading your space, but I mean, it's just, I think it's so interesting of how people organize their spaces and artists organize their spaces
Yeah.
to create work. Cause like personally, I have to be in a super blank environment. Like my studios normally have nothing on the walls. I can't look at anything because I get so distracted. I'm like, I can't figure it out. And if I'm looking for that to fix, like when I need inspiration or I need a quick idea, I just like go through my phone and look at all my
Yeah.
boards or things I've written down. Now, I'm really curious, what are your inspirations and like, what is the art that you consume mostly?
Um, that's like there's like so much. Like I just kind of like I mean, I've always really liked music, and I like for a long time in my life, I like didn't make music at all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I started like playing the drums when I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't. I'm when I was in Las Vegas because I lived there for like high school, but
Mm-hmm.
I've mostly been in Chicago. When I moved
Mm-hmm.
back to Chicago, I started like being in like bands and stuff like that. And then I started making solo music.
Yeah.
Um, but before that I was just kind of like listening to a lot of stuff. I thought I wanted to be like a music critic because that's like I have like a passion for music, but like I
Yeah.
was unable to make it because I didn't have like the money or like my grandparents didn't want me to make music.
Mm-hmm.
Or like reasons, you know what I mean? Like, and it's
Mhm.
just like, this is something I always like dreamed of doing, and I feel like going about like being really influenced by like these like scenes that I belong to, or like these phases that I had. Like I like really like the scene kid music, like with like Never Shout Never, and like fucking like Breathe Carolina and stuff like that, and then going into it, then like really like things like Animal Collective. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like just like going to like that, and like really like listening to a lot, and like kind of giving a lot of things a chance. And like I kind of like am blessed that I didn't start making music earlier, because I was able to like kind of like get into more instead of
Yeah.
being stuck in like a style that I thought I had to like belong to.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just like kind of like just random shit like that, or like also like anime. Like I'm always like watching like anime, especially when I was younger.
Mhm.
Not so much now, 'cause I'm so busy, but I just like it's like all that shit is just so inspirational to me. Like it's like
Mhm.
it's like things that are like fast, or like when I was younger, like YouTube poops. I'm not sure if you know what that is. It's just like crazy video collages that are like they're just like
Uh-huh.
it's like ridiculous, and like they're just saying things like what, like penis, or like, you know, just like old YouTube. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah, I think I know exactly what you mean. I
yeah,
remember
just like
those.
shit like that. That's like what I get into, because I'm just like this is like all shit that I've liked for my whole life, and it's just like I don't know.
No, I think that's so interesting. Do you feel like you make music rooted in your childhood inspirations or childhood like favorite movies and TV shows and
No, that's literally it. Like all the like it's like my music is kind of like a big representation of like all the things that I've been, and like and like that is who I am
Mhm.
now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's why I like make like footwork music too. Like a lot of my music is like footwork, because I'm from Chicago. I used to footwork with
Mhm.
my cousins. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's just like it's all like a what, like a reference to
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's so fascinating, especially when my thinking and how hearing you talk more about your work and your processes and how you grew as an artist. I think hearing that first initial, this is an audio collage as it is music, it really makes so much sense
Yeah.
now because I see these all these beautiful little because I also what I was thinking while I was listening to your music was like I feel like there's these little moments that mean so much to you as an artist that you're
Yeah, yeah,
putting
yeah.
in this. And I'm like, I wish I knew. I wish I knew what these little moments were, these little samples were, because I can tell how much it means to you. And these whatever you're basing it off of or whatever you're sampling, um, the energy does transpire, even if we don't know the story.
Yeah, I mean that's fucking awesome. I'm glad that's like that actually like kind of like coming out, and like people can like tell like what I'm feeling, or like even if they don't really know what it's, you know,
Hmm.
what it's about. Like that's why with audio diary, the voice messages, I feel like people really relate to that, because even
Hmm.
though it's like those are voice messages to me,
Hmm.
just like it's just like almost like somebody's talking to you or something like that. I don't know, like
Hmm.
so like it's like I mean it's just something, it's like I'm telling you a story or something. You know what I mean?
It's yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. It's like, and it's also really interesting because the way you're telling these stories is kind of because it's there's so many different sounds and it reminds me of my own train of thought and how scattered one's conversation or how thought can be. And it's because when you think, I feel like I've been thinking about this a lot as I've been on vacation, so I've been having a little bit too much free time to think.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking a lot of how even in just my own train of thought, there's like the way I'm processing things. I'm bringing in all these other references that I've experienced, and it helping me make contextualize what's going on in my head. But it's like that's kind of how your music feels. It feels
Yeah.
like a really authentic train of thought with just things, all these sounds. We all know these like sounds, and they all sound really familiar. But when they're kind of mixed in the way that you mix them and how you turn it into music, it's just like so also you at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, that's what
It's
I'm trying to do. That's
it's insane. What are you planning on doing? I mean, obviously you just put out this album, so you're probably like, I need to take a break. But what are you planning on doing in the future with your work?
I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like with it's like music. I like never really expected really any like anything from like this,
Hmm.
like anything that I've been doing, like just because like when I like make music, like because I think it is like I feel like it's a pretty accurate like representation of myself, but like how I think, or maybe I guess it is how like other people think. I
Mm-hmm.
thought you said that, but that I feel like that leaves a lot of room for like insecurity and like feeling like, oh, nobody's gonna like this is too weird, or like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people are gonna think this is like cool, or if people are like, because like for my my whole life I kind of felt like a little weird, like a little
Yeah. Oh my
out of
God. I know
place.
exactly how you feel.
Like, like that's just how I am. But
Mm-hmm.
and I'm representing it in like my music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just like because music is like what I've really wanted to do for my whole life. Like
Mm-hmm.
even when I was unable to do it, I wanted to be doing it, but I just didn't have the access to it. But I like kind of made up for that in like the listening to music. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now that I kind of have like people like paying attention, which is like really nuts to me. Like I really didn't. This is crazy. I
Yeah.
didn't know that like this was gonna happen. I'm just like, because it's just I'm just like making stuff that like I would
Yeah.
anybody would like, you know what I mean, or nobody would like. I don't know. It's just like crazy.
No, I know exactly how you feel. It's
You know
like
what I mean?
the
I
weirdest thing
feel it.
ever. It's so
Yeah.
weird. I mean, even in like what my small community, it's like I put out a few art installments that I did. So I did a lot of paintings this summer. And it was really weird to hear people's reactions to it. And I was like, what the hell? Like this is like I never expected like even just like mutual friends to come up to me and say something. It was weird.
Yeah.
But I think that it's really interesting. Because I mean I know exactly how you feel. It's like I do get insecure and be like, oh, this is weird. Nobody's gonna like this. But I
Yeah.
think that um seeing other artists who are totally weird in their own way are really interesting people, and like those are the people we end up worshiping,
Yeah.
and they're so fucking cool because they do whatever they want and they're who they are and they're not gonna compromise that. And I just think that, yeah, I mean I know exactly how you feel when it comes to making music, and it's you make music for yourself. I feel like we all make work for ourselves, or at least to cope with ourselves, and to find, a piece of what we like. I mean, do you ever feel when you started making music that it was it hard for you to make music that you felt was authentic to what you wanted to hear? Or did you just immediately be like, this is what I want, this is exactly the taste that I
No,
was
like
going for?
I think like when I when I first started, I was like playing guitar,
Mm-hmm.
singing stuff like that, and it's like I thought that that's what I really wanted to do. I thought that that was like kind of like the route I was gonna take, because like I mean I don't know, like I had an 8 track and a guitar, and that's like all, like there was nothing else
Mm-hmm.
for me to do. That's like all I had access to. So I was like, okay, well this is what I have to do. Um, and I think just as time went on, and you kind of like that like realize more about yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you learn more about who you actually are. Like
Mm-hmm.
instead of just being like a young person, I
Mm-hmm.
it's like a young experiencing the world. You know what I mean? Like it's uh like at the time, like all my friends were playing guitar, and like
Yeah.
all my friends, and all my friends, like if they were making music, they were like kind of like either just playing guitar, like instrumentals and like singing. And then like my other friends were like making beats.
Mm-hmm.
So then I got like a drum machine. I kind of like was mixing the two. I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm just gonna mix the two, and that was kind of like closer to what I wanted to do. I was like, okay, well, let me keep going, like getting more gear, and then like learning about myself. And it's like, well, you know what I mean? Well, I actually want to start like making music more that represents like Chicago more. Then
Yeah.
it goes further, and it's like, well, I have more access to this. Like, I want to make music that like I want to start like remixing old songs that I really like, because those are like dope, and I want people to know that's like that I like that. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
putting that stuff out, like remixing all these songs that I really like, and then it's like now I'm at a point where like I have the access to like able to, and I'm able to like not just like remix a song that I like. I'm able to like put so many little things that like are like that are about me in one thing, and just like put it out there, and it's like a cohesive like piece of music. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
actually didn't start off, you know what I mean, knowing what I really wanted to do. I like it took time, because it took like 3 years for me,
Oh
like
yeah.
continuously making music. 'Cause, like I don't do anything else. You know what I mean? Like this is like really I like what I want to do. Like I used to skate and
Mm-hmm.
like take photos and stuff like that, like parties and stuff like that. And I just like gave everything up just to like do this, because this is what I really want to do. You know?
No, I totally get that. I think that, I mean, especially when you talk about Ableton, God, that was the biggest headache for me to learn Ableton. I remember just being like, oh my God, this is the hardest thing ever. But
Yeah.
it's one of those softwares where the more you like, you have to learn by playing with it. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things that when you do learn it, it's the coolest software ever. And because
Yeah.
there's so many pockets that you can go into, and it's like completely customizable. And it
Yeah.
becomes one of those things that it's like your way of like flying, I guess. It's like I was thinking about it today. I was like, if I didn't have Photoshop, like I don't know what I would do. Like, and I remember like 6 months ago crying over how hard it was for me to manage Photoshop. But like
Yeah.
it becomes something you can't live without to create. And you
Yeah.
wake up in the morning and you think about it. It's like
Yeah.
the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing ever. But and I just wow, it's just so interesting because I know exactly how you feel as well when it comes even like finding your own sound and like hearing. I think it's sometimes it's like, especially making music, it's like I feel like you're talking into a mic and you hear it and you're like, that's not me, that's not me. And then finally, like I I know exactly what you mean, like where I started making work and I was like, oh wait a minute, that feels like me.
Yeah.
That whatever that is, I feel like that's me. And then you start to grow on it. And it's as you grow and as you digest more and as you experience more, it's like, okay, now I see this happening, I see where this is growing into something.
Mm.
um yeah, that's incredible. So I guess one of my final questions um is, what is like, how is collaborating, does that come into making your solo work, or do you um just kind of work on your own?
No, I think like I feel like I can't even like with like the music that I make, even like and like learning and like developing, like I have to like throw some real like big credit to like a lot of my friends. Like I when I like first started making music, I was playing guitar. Like I lived with my friend Grant,
Mm-hmm.
and he is like one of the best guitarists I've ever met in my whole life. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like he's nuts, and he knows a lot about music. So we would talk, and even though like I didn't really understand what like what he was saying all the time, like he would like talk to me like it was like he would like talk to me like I did, and then
Mm-hmm.
like explain things like while we were going, and then like it was I was like, able to like learn. So like that like pushed me, and then like my friend Jeffrey, like who gave me the 8-track, we were like always making music together, and he was showing me things, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, like I like and like I you know, and I always collab like all like my like audio diary has like songs that like that my like friend Santana, like Jeffrey, like they're on. Like also this album has like my friend Jeffrey and my friend Nikki
Mm-hmm.
on. You know what I mean? Like I'm always making music with people because it's like it's that's really important, especially so you because it gets you out of yourself, and then
True.
once you're out of yourself, listening to other things, and you can like get closer to yourself, essentially, like
Mm-hmm.
just learning more, especially about like Ableton and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like, and because I started using it last year, and so did like all my friends. Basically, we're all learning it together. You
That's
know what
so
I mean?
rad.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
like going forward, and it's like it's really it's been really crazy, and it's like awesome because it's super easy to it's super easy to collaborate on like Ableton, like work on music.
Mm-hmm.
You just like it's like you can like take turns like a game or something, you know?
No, that's so cool. I mean, it's really true. I really, now I feel like I should get back on Ableton, even though I
Yeah,
have
you should.
so little patience for it. Um, and okay, so this is my final question, and I hate to put you on the spot, but this is like something I always do with my friends and my people I collaborate with and artists that I talk to. What are your top 5 albums at the moment that you listen to? Because you said
So
you're also a music lover.
that's so like
I know this is a really tough question. I feel really bad for just springing it on you.
no, it's okay. I'm gonna look at my phone. I just like
Okay.
this is like this one. I feel like I should have thought about this. Somebody asked
No,
me recently, actually, and
really?
I I didn't answer. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's really hard. It's like probably like one of the hardest questions I've ever been asked as well. But
Yeah. Okay.
it says, I think I don't know. It just it makes me think a lot about what I'm listening to.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd say like right now because MF Doom just died,
Mhm.
and he's like one of like I like my idols. Like I
Mhm.
bought my MPC 2000 because he had one. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
he's
that's insane. He's dope.
like the Mad Villainy album.
Yeah.
is probably like I've been listening to that on repeat just because like I mean this was also like this was like the first record I like ever bought. Like this
That's
is
so
like
cool.
the first record I bought. So,
That's so
like
fucking cool.
so like just that. Let's see, that's one. And then like new stuff like the Otto album. Like I don't know if you know who Otto
Oh,
is.
I love Otto. Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
yeah. Like that new album that was like
Yeah,
I
no, that new album's insane. I love that.
literally like blew my mind. I was like, wow.
Uh-huh.
And I think we might work soon too. We
Are
were
you
talking.
kidding me?
That's fucking
That's
awesome.
insane. No,
Whoa.
my friends Lily bought the plushies that he has.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
like
they're cool.
whoa. So this is so hard. I'm a big Blink 182 fan.
Mhm.
Just because I went to high school in like Las Vegas, like on the West Coast. I was like skating. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been listening to Dude Ranch a
Okay.
lot. That album. And then like Bogdan Rzinski. Have you ever listened to him?
No, I haven't.
You should. It's really
Okay.
it's like Samurai Math Beats is the album.
That sounds so fucking cool.
It's like it's super sick, and it's like with that like was a big like also another big like eye opener for music, like with like electronic music. I was like, oh my god, like you can really like do whatever. You know what I mean? Like
That you really can do whatever.
you can just
It's
do whatever.
so cool.
It's super sick. I
Hmm.
think. Oh my god, that's like four.
I don't. Yeah, that was 4.
So I'm like one more. Um, this is so hard.
I know. I'm sorry.
No.
I just love hearing what people are listening to. I just because I'm always like looking for more, and whereas we're working more and on my team, we're like I just want to pull. I want to pull as many people and as many different musicians and people who I don't know about, and also revisit things I've already heard as well.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm gonna say something that I've been going back to a lot is the DJ Nate album, Takeoff
Okay.
Mode. I bought it on Bandcamp a while ago to put in a set, and I just have been listening to it back to back, just like literally he's a track genius. You know what I mean? He's that guy, you know, DJ Nate. It's like his music is like really nuts. I don't know. When I was young, I heard Lil Mama Bad as Hell. It's like one of his songs, and like my like aunt was playing it. Like that was like her like what she
And
liked.
it just hit your ear, and it really
Like,
started a palette.
yeah, and it's like wow, like this shit's crazy. And he made a new album like last or 2019, so it was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But, like, that was like I was like wow, like this is fucking exactly what I want. You know what I mean? Like this is like kind of how I want my music to sound, but you know what I mean? I gotta be myself. He's DJ Nate. I'm Casper.
No, I know exactly what you mean because I listen to the same thing or I'll see something, and I have my movies that I've seen, and I have like collections, and because I'm working on a million different things at once. But
Yeah.
I see these bodies of work, and I'm like, I want to make that, but I want to make my version of it, and I want that feeling, and I want that sound, and I want that like whatever twang in the background or flavor. It's like it's the coolest thing ever because I think it really does show your inspirations really do show in your work.
Yeah.
Like even Charlie sent me a song last week, and he was like, this reminds me of LUmKA, because the name of my first installment was LUmKA 1.0.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's so funny because I actually was listening to that song when I was making it. And he was like, what? And I was like, no, like that's what I was painting to. That's what I was doodling and doing all the stuff to. And he was like, it was just like, I was like, wow, that's actually fucking crazy that like he heard that song and he sent it to me because it reminded him of this one thing I did. And I was something I actually heard he listened to while making it. So it's insane. I've been recently losing my mind. But anyways, I probably shouldn't take any much more of your time. So I really appreciate you coming on here. This has been insane. I mean, I've been really needing an art conversation like this. Luckily, I'm from New York. I live in New York City, but I've been away, so I feel very isolated.
Yeah.
But I will be back soon. But yeah, so thank you so much for talking with me, and it was a pleasure.